believe SEO is just about getting traffic when it's not. It's about getting conversions. Right?
I love. Wow, I love that. I'm gonna have to. Hey, person editing this, make sure we snip that. We're gonna use that as number one, a clip here. We're gonna turn that into a quote.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not SEO is not just about traffic, getting organic traffic from the search engines. It's about conversions and actually a different.
For 90% of people, like if you're running a TMZ or Daily Mail, of course you want as much traffic as possible because your KPI, your business outcome, your ORB, is traffic equals impressions, which equals rev share, ad share, right?
Right.
And therefore, in that model, you want to write about as much ridiculousness as possible to get traffic.
This is about the model. So there are different models and different reasons you would. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas if you are trying to sell, Honda Accords second hand, you're probably going to do lots of content around,
Before we jump into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, and after a listen, please give us a thumbs up, like, and share, if we've earned it. With your help, we can reach more people and deliver these valuable From the Trenches lessons to those that need it. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another The Builders. Today we are joined again by AJ Saunders. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me again. I think this is episode number 75, isn't it, that we've done together?
75, yeah. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
No, I believe this is the 5th time I've been on here to rap with you about marketing and general.
Yeah, we always have a really good time. There's always a few laughs on the show. There's always, I think the last time we
have a
came,
laugh button, don't we?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We should have like an applause button too.
We should, yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or laughter. Yeah. No, like last time, I think we dove into an episode. We had like no idea what we were going to talk about, and then
that's the magic.
I'm like, and that's which is fun because like as we're talking, we don't know what we're talking about, but the person listening probably does because we've already created the titles and descriptions, and they already saw that before they watched the episode, so they know more than we do right now.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Gosh. Good job. But we do have some bullets. Some things we thought about talking about today. But before we get into that, let's catch up. What you been up to, AJ? One thing I noted.
Okay.
One thing I noted I see you doing out there. I see you posting on social media.
I do, yes.
More regular. Are you doing it more regularly, or you got a new schedule? Or?
No, I'm still posting daily, I think, on LinkedIn and on Facebook, same post. And then once a week, I'm trying to get onto the business Instagram. And then I rarely talk about business on my personal Instagram unless it's like I've cut a $4 million check, which hasn't happened yet. Being the operative word. No, I'm just talking to more people, and the more people I talk to, the more interesting stories I come across, and I try and note them down now in Trello. And then when I feel that person may have forgotten talking to me about this topic, I then write a post about it. Because that way you piss them off, right?
That's bad.
But also, I don't use other people's stories to harm their reputation, harm them, or to do anything nefarious towards them. But often, other people have the best learning opportunities. I feel that's what I'm trying to gather from them. So again, it's not to insult or to upset them, but it's to do with, hey, can we learn something from what you're experiencing, or what my opinion is on what you're experiencing, or what you may have not told me, but I've inferred. So
you've inferred. So you're working with clients.
Sure.
Things are happening. You're inferring issues, or you're seeing issues.
Yep.
And then you take that and you drop that into Trello as an idea.
Yes,
and you turn that into content you're posting on social media.
Yeah.
a good process. That's really good because, I mean, if they have that problem or they have that thing they're tripping over, having issues with, other people might resonate with that.
100%.
Could make for good content. I mean, I've seen some of your content getting a little traction. And
thank you.
I just say daily because I don't think you always did daily. I think a few years back you were. It's been a while since we've been doing this. but it's good to see you doing regular content and showing up every day and doing your thing, and it's always really good and insightful stuff too. So.
Oh, thank you. I'll pay your invoice later, sir. I'll put it like this. I don't often think about what I'm going to write. And so it usually is something that I think about in the day, or something that happens, or something that spurs something. But I generally don't sit here and have this grand plan of, I must talk about X today, or I must talk about X this week. And so, I guess for me, this is the interesting, unique thing. So, A, I'm an introvert, and B, I'm dyslexic. And so, if I'm shooting from the hip and writing something, it probably is graphically and spelling-wise questionable. And it's probably me trying to process what I've read or experienced or thought about.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm writing about. They then post that I think, hey, this is a really, really evergreen topic, or I think that this is an important topic, that I'll then copy that back into Trello. I've got like another card on the board for previous posts. But yeah, I don't have some grand.
Well, I love that. I think that's the best content, and I do that even like my solo episodes, or when we're just talking, when I'm talking with people, pulling from your personal experience with like clients, and it's interesting. I had a lady on yesterday. It was an intro call. She's going to be on the podcast soon.
Fantastic.
And she actually was watching a lot of my episodes. And she asked me, how do I do my solo episodes? I'm like, what do you mean? How do I do my solo episodes? Like, you just flow. You just sit down. You seem comfortable. You just talk. I'm like, yes, that's true. And it's really interesting because I really don't think about it. I'm like,
no.
She's like, I think she was trying to tease out the secrets to my style or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, sometimes if I barely have any bullets at all, I just sit down, I have a topic in my mind, and I start talking to it.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because I'm talking from the trenches, from what we do every day, and stories. And I just I think of things in stories and share those stories. And I think you can do, like you're doing, the same thing for any content on social media, and I should probably do more of that type of content. We speak to pain points and things like that, and once in a while, personal quotes and things like that, and thoughts. But we could do more of that too. But it's a good way to do it. I think it's good.
I think the other thing in this is a shallow point, and I don't want people to take any inference from it as a deeper conversation, but I feel the best preachers, right, if you grew up Baptist, right, are the people that read the scripture, then tell you a story about the scripture, which illustrates the point that passage is trying to make. And I think what I feel that I'm good at is being a good storyteller. I think you are as well. I think you're a really, really effective storyteller. I'm not saying that because I'm more on a podcast, but I'm saying that because I genuinely think that.
Okay, I'll give you a tip later for saying that. No.
Cool. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But I do think that
euros or whatever.
but I do think that it's that whole kind of thing of you can deliver the same point in three different ways, and you can wrap those three things into one post, so people then get it, and that's what you are trying to do. Yeah. So
I mean, because we're all kind of, a lot of the things people deal with or problems they have or things they're trying to overcome are things that a lot of people are. Yeah. They run into the same things, and if you can illustrate it through a story and through something grounded in some kind of actual factual thing that happened, it's powerful. And I think it's good. So we're talking about that today. So that's one thing that'll be on our description.
Cool, great,
awesome. No, one of the things though, I think we've talked a lot about SEO on this.
Cool.
In our various episodes we've been on, right? You've been on, and you've talked a lot about content, how to approach content. You have a very kind of unique focus or like approach to how you generate content. We've talked about like if people are going to create content for an e-commerce site or something or a blog, what kind of content do you create? You got an idea around that?
I've got a few small ideas around that.
Yeah. If you want to just touch on that, we won't go deep because we're going to get deeper in. Because I want to get into more like a little bit more technical today, maybe.
So I really believe that blogs, websites, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's a manufacturing company, I think from the Midwest, I can use that. But I believe that the purpose of content is to persuade and to make the sales process easier, right? So, for example, I can give you a couple of examples. So, I'm working with a lingerie company at the moment, and so we're producing a lot of content around how to measure yourself or why things don't fit correctly and what to do about it, right? Because that's the pain point that we're trying to address, and that's how we're trying to build trust, is by saying we actually understand what your problem is, we understand what sizing means to you, right?
Yeah.
A company that I worked with earlier in the year, they're selling AI automated recycling plants. And so you're talking, a multi-million-dollar purchase, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore having a website that ranks really well in Google for lots of press releases, lots of key terms, lots of content doesn't make any sense for them whatsoever. Because it's, at that point, what they're selling, it becomes a very, can I say, governmental, kind of like process-driven thing. So, you're not waking up on a Thursday morning and saying, I need to, make my a plant more efficient. What can I do? Who can I order something from today who's going to deliver tomorrow, right? It just doesn't happen, right?
It's a different process.
It's tendered. It's probably you probably have 4 different layers of people to go through. Your FD, your MD, or your CEO, the bank, or whoever is funding it. If your local council run facility, then you go to the local council, and therefore actually having content around. Right, step 1 is you need to understand like what size of space you need. Step 2 is you need to understand, what requirements you have in terms of power. I'm making this all up, but having that all documented out so that when you're engaging with the stakeholders, you can make a more persuasive argument because you understand what potential questions may get asked.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you'll have thought about I need to go talk to the sales guy about X because I don't have an answer for X, and I know. From what I've thought about, I'll probably ask that in the next meeting that I have about this project. And therefore having content around that actually drives revenue because you shorten the sales cycle. And I know you had a 20-year career in sales, so I'm not going to try and teach you how to sell because I'm not a sales guy. But I know if you could use content to shorten the sales cycle by a day, you would bite my hand off. Right?
Yeah,
sure. You're thinking a multi-million-dollar purchase, if you reduce the sales cycle by 2 months, you're going to want to buy me lunch, aren't you?
But are you shortening everyone's sales cycle, or is it the person that sees that content, you're capturing them in that stage of the buying cycle? So
it's both. So I have a blog at audaciouscommons.com. Just going to say that. audaciouscommons.com. And the purpose of that blog is not to get SEO traffic. I'll say that again. The purpose is not to get SEO traffic. The purpose is to, when I do calls, when I talk to people and they say, oh, well, I'm really, one of our key problems at the moment is email marketing. And I go, cool, well, we've got 4 articles about email marketing on the website that will educate you to be more sophisticated when we talk the next time. Right? You've written a marketing plan. Great, we've got an article about that. Go and read that. Go think about that. Come talk to us again, right? And so it's about trying to help people become more educated in the underlying idea so they can be more cognizant, more comprehensive and more competent when they come and talk to you about the issue that they are facing.
Right.
And oftentimes it's not about trying to get all this great traffic or trying to get all these great conversions through having lots of people on your website, but having the right content.
Having a resource that you can send people to answer their questions and move them along the funnel.
Exactly. I think that's far more conducive to actually helping you convert than not.
I mean, it's a good play. I mean, you still might get that organic traffic or whatever hitting those pages.
Yeah.
And
That's
so kind of it's a dual purpose in a way.
Yeah, exactly. That's to be the secondary benefit. If you get some SEO traffic, you hope to get some authority, you hope to build some brand awareness and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's secondary.
And I kind of like so something I've been doing, actively doing, as another example is agency solutions. So we have web design services, and we have one of our key things. If you look at we have a very simple header menu on our website. Very simple. It's custom, maintenance, and agency solutions. That's it. It's always how it's been. Simple, clear, to the point. Right? You know what we do.
Yep.
But on the agency solutions side, I've been slowly developing content around agencies and how we help agents, and not even just us, but like how agencies can get help. And I even recently have created a guide about outsourcing and building relationships and building content on my personal blog and stuff. But that's all eventually, the idea here is eventually I will, on that agency solutions landing page, I will have a little article section at the bottom that, somebody, an agency hits that, they see that, and maybe strategically they're going to lead them into some kind of process or guide them along the way and give them help them before they even give me a call, and then that hopefully that content will have some kind of CTA, get more information, or right. You should. Does all your content have an action at the end of it? Or in the middle? Or at the top?
I've strayed away from having CTAs. I just try to get people signed up to the newsletter, right? Because I don't want people on the newsletter, they'll get... I'm running two different newsletters. So I'm running a prospect newsletter and a partnership newsletter. So prospect, they're identical apart from the top section, which just says, if you're ready to grow your business, click here, right? Or the partnership one is just, earn money through referring, and here's how to do it, right? That's simple, right? So I'm just trying to filter people into that rather than... And there's a big book call button at the top that, when you scroll up, it stays there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do.
So you're kind of you think list building is important? Is that a kind of big part of your strategy is to convert people to the list, so then maybe they have a longer buying cycle and you can build authority or follow up with them, or how are you approaching that?
Right. Everything.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I like these difficult questions. I'm like Warren Buffett. He said, "Don't ask me don't ask me the simple questions. Ask me the difficult questions." Anyway, gotta love that guy. My whole purpose. This is really, really simplistic, right? But it is because it has to be. My whole purpose is: can I get that person on a call? Right? It never is, can I get them to subscribe to the newsletter? Can I get them to, like what I'm writing on LinkedIn, can I get them to have me on their podcast, right? It's, can we actually have a conversation where I essentially can qualify which lane they're in and whether they are in a lane that we can help, right? Whether that's like, that's like with you in particular. So, I know I've referred some people to you. I know you've reached out in return and said, I'm looking for X. I know you don't do X, but do you know anyone that does? And I've been able to help you with contacts and that kind of thing, right? Versus you saying, hey, I've got this problem that I know you can solve, right? And so for me, it's about trying to get people onto a call, try to convince them that you are a safe pair of hands, right? And I do sales, but I'm not a sales guy. right? I'm a thinker, unfortunately.
You're a thinker?
I'm a thinker. I'm going to sit under a tree and with a pen and paper. I've never done that. I've never done that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And therefore, yeah. So I'm convinced that if I get in front of people, then they can either disqualify themselves, which is great, or they can qualify themselves, and it's a matter of then making sure. So that's why the emails go out every Thursday. It literally is to keep me top of mind, or keep us top of mind.
Yeah.
I've shown it to clients, and they said, "So what's the purpose?" I was like, literally just to remind people that exist, and they go, "Well, it's perfect." And I said, "Yeah, people
don't forget it. Don't forget about me."
I don't care if people read the email, I don't care if people read what I wrote on LinkedIn, or if people read the blog. I just care that people are going and then remembering that we exist.
Yeah.
Because I know that at the right time, at the right point, they will think he's the right guy to go talk to.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's how you kind of. I mean, it's keep building awareness, keeping top of mind, and you can do that on social media. You can do that with the content you create, but also email. Yeah. Keeping up, just keep it going, being consistent, always dropping in the. Even if they filter you out once in a while, they'll see one of your emails. They may not it's So we could go. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe number 6. So let's leave. So I just wanted to touch on content though, because obviously content's a really, really important part of every website. With no content,
yes, sir.
Nothing's going to happen there.
No.
No, nothing. You'll have to at least have a sentence. Something. It could be, short, sweet. So let's from there. So let's say you got content. I'm interested because I don't know if we've spoken to this and kind of, but your kind of approach to optimizing content on a website. Is this? SEO's changed a lot over the years. It has.
Apparently so.
It has. For the last 20 plus years I've been around, you can't get away with a lot of things you did in the early days, keyword stuffing and all that stuff. Yep. But now, I mean, there's this point where do you even need to worry about keywords anymore? Because Google or search engines really understand the context of a page But having said that, you're the expert. What do you worry about in terms of optimizing titles and the paragraphs on the page? And we'll start there. Start with those things.
Okay, so I'm just going to recount in systematic order what you said. So do keywords matter? Yes, they do. I think keywords will always matter. However, I think keyword density, when we probably both got started, 10 years ago. In my case, 15, 20 years ago. In your case, keyword stuffing and keyword density was a big hot topic. I don't think it is as much as it was then as it is now. I think a lot of I know you're a WordPress guy, so I know a lot of the WordPress plugins that have keyword density built in as a metric, I think they're actually doing a disservice to competent SEO people. Mm-hmm. That said, I think having a keyword... Well, so there's a couple of things. So having a keyword helps you then optimize everything around that keyword. I think Google is smart enough to realize that it's... So I'll put it this way. I hate the idea of keywords. I think in terms of phrases, right? Because I'm always thinking in terms of I'm asking Google a question, or I'm asking Bing a question, or I'm asking somebody else, or I'm thinking about asking a question. Who can give me the best answer, right? So, for example, I've just got automated curtains put in last week, right? So much fun. Just like it's great. Recommend everyone does that, right? And so, I've been Googling in advance, going, can I do X? Obviously, well, I'll put it this way. My history of DIY is very short and very painful. So I employ other people to do that for me now, right?
Yes.
Because, otherwise I'll end up with the ER, that's just not gonna... Yeah, exactly. And And so, so I'm going to Google and I'm looking at, or I'm looking on YouTube, or I'm looking on Instagram for solutions to the problem that I can then have some an educated understanding of, so that I can talk to the other stakeholders who are going to install the stuff, or understand, so I can understand also how I'm going to program it to make it function in the way that I want it to, and then it's the combined my knowledge and their effort that makes it all work.
Makes sense.
Right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
And therefore, I think, if you are I know this is very top of the funnel, right? Top of the funnel is, general awareness kind of keywords. So that's how I kind of think in terms of like building content is, what kind of typical questions are we getting? How can we address them? And then where are we filtering people to? And so keyword matters, but I think in terms of more phrases. So, best X for Y, I think is, fairly bottom of the funnel, but also fairly mandatory to have. Having can I use X to do A, obviously, is very, very important, etc., etc. And I think all of that is to do with stating as you would, but there's obviously derivations of that. So does X do Y? Can I use X for Y? How does X benefit Y? Those sorts of questions, right? And obviously you can't put all of that into your keyword tool. Well, sorry, you can't put that into Yoast or Rank Math or All-in-One SEO on WordPress, right? But what you can do is you can make sure that you are using those sorts of terms throughout, which then lowers your your keyword density in all these tools, the aforementioned tools, but I think actually helps, right, in general.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I think keywords are important, but I think it's understanding the topology, big word there, topology of what we are what the purpose of what we're doing is. Right?
So you start with the purpose, you start with the question,
yeah.
And then you build the content, the keywords around that.
Yeah. And therefore, I think a lot of people are they're either building content that doesn't map to a keyword, and therefore they're never going to get any meaningful traffic from it, or they're trying to trend hop, which may have, 2 million traffic this month and then it goes to 0. So the day we're recording, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez apparently got divorced or have filed. I know it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Heartbreaking. I am so crushed. I can't hardly even concentrate today.
I just put on the blue shirt for you. I'll go back to black next. But that's what I mean in terms of that. If you look at Google Trends over the last 3 months, it's going to peak and it will drop off because nobody's going to be talking about Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Or 3 months' time, right? Well, one would hope not.
until next time.
Until next time, exactly. Yeah. We'll have another run in 10 years' time, right?
That's right. Well, not to go off course, but I was like, I think I just read a quick article. I just scanned it. I'm a speed reader, and I just saw 17 years ago. They weren't they separated for 17 years, and then they got back together, and now 2 years later. 2 years later. 2 years later. Something's going on there. I don't know. He's doing something. I don't know. It's always the guy's fault, right?
I wouldn't mind being that guy's freak. Let's put it that way. That'd be a profitable gig. That'd be a very profitable gig. Anyway.
We digress.
We digress.
So this is good. So yeah, we're speaking to some keywords. So what other things do you now? The way we approach it in our business, in our content, is Matt writes content. Right. I write. I got this kind of interesting kind of rotation now with 3 of my websites. I don't have to worry about the blog site or the podcast site, obviously, because that writes its own content. But I kind of have this rotation. I have 3 blogs technically, and but I have somebody in house who's trained to optimize those for me. So I focus on the topic what I'm speaking to. I focus on the content and dropping some images in there, and then she backfills, comes in the next day or that week, and she presents me some new titles because my titles are never good enough for SEO.
Nope.
And then I choose one that I think best fits that article still, so she might, do some optimization. And that's kind of our process. And I think one of the things that's important, besides keywords like we're talking about, is also like optimizing the title, the actual meta title, right? Getting more technical behind the scenes in the source of that page. Are some tags called meta tags or meta title, meta description, and so on. What are your thoughts around that and optimizing, making sure, because if you're not choosing a keyword, you're just, do you put the question in? Do you put the title in the title?
Yep.
What do you do?
Yep. So let's just say, again, I'm going to put home automation because I'm a nerd, right? And I don't think anyone wants to hear me yabber on about Bentleys for the next 20 minutes. But anyway, that's another topic. We can talk.
There's somebody out there.
So you might put, can I use wireless window treatments in my house, right? And so the keyword you can be targeting is wireless window treatments, right? And so I've used the question because, Google will pick up that question. People will be searching that, or maybe searching some derivation of that question. And then, so I would use it as the title. I then try and, put that in the meta description. So I'd probably phrase it, this can be a bit janky because, I'm thinking off the top of my head here. But something like, today, janky.
That's a great word, janky.
Janky. Oh, gee. Oh, my gosh. Amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
I might put, come with us as we explore whether you can use wireless window treatments in your home, or whether a wire solution is a more safe bet, right? And so, or wired blinds are a safer bet, right, or something like that, right? So you got wireless in there, you got wireless window treatments, you got wired, you got wired blinds, or something, right? So you got some taxonomy based around the understanding of the topic, right? But you've also got some context in there of what you are talking about and why you're talking about it. And if you can do it in 160 characters, which is what the meta description is, I think you're pretty.
You just put that in the description. Okay. Does it? Should it be readable? Should it be like?
It should be readable. It should be
like in a sentence of some kind of structure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because this is what shows up in Google results. Although Google it's optional. They might make up their own description, right?
Yeah.
At least that's the last time I remember reading up on it.
I've seen people saying it's as high as 6%. Other people saying it's as high as 80% of Google rewriting. But I think that what Google is actually doing is rewriting the meta description for the query. Right, because it understands the taxonomy, it understands the topology, and understands the context of your content. Right? And therefore...
Good job enunciating.
I feel like Matthew... What's his name?
McConaughey,
yeah, that's it. We enunciate. Anyway, he's a cool guy.
Guys, right.
So I think Google is smart enough, and Bing is smart enough, and all these programs are smart enough to understand the context about the content, and to understand the topology and the taxonomy to be able to then roll that into a rewritten meta description that answers the question that somebody is searching for, right? Because I strongly believe that Google doesn't really want people to spend a lot of time in the search results. They want people to click on results.
Yes.
And whether that's an ad that they're getting paid for, whether that's an actual organic thing, I don't think Google actually sits there and has board meetings about a KPI about time on site.
No.
right? They probably have a KPI about interactions on page, right?
Yes. Yep.
I'm jumping ahead on that because I know you want to talk about KPIs because that's my favourite topic.
KPIs will be episode 8.
Yes. Cool. Well, you can change your life by setting KPIs. I'll say again, you can change your life by setting KPIs. Anyway.
By saying it?
By setting KPIs.
Oh, setting KPIs. If I just say it, it'll change my life.
I got some
KPIs.
I got some get rich grifter. Anyway, anyway, so then you want to make sure that you're using in your content, you want to make sure it's the alt tag of at least an image, if not a couple of images. And again, if you have multiple images, then you can use similes or derivations or.
Okay, we're talking about images. So images, you're dropping into the page, and in the image itself, in the code. But you can do this if you're using WordPress. There's a field for this.
Yes, sir.
If you go to your media library and click on the image, there's going to be like some stuff in that, and one of them is going to be the alt tag, and that helps not only Google understand more about that image, even though probably Google's getting better at understanding images. That it also is helpful for accessibility and somebody that may not be able, that is using a screen reader or something.
Exactly.
That's important too. So images does help SEO.
Yep. Absolutely.
As you're saying.
And then the other the other 3 factors. So if you can find a video that illustrates your point, it doesn't have to be your own video, but if you can find a video that illustrates what you're trying to say or gives a different point of view, that's always good to include, because then hopefully you're giving people a better, more comprehensive understanding of the topic. That may not be possible, or there may be some commercial conflict. So, for example, if I write an article about marketing strategy, HubSpot may produce a really cracking video, and I think, well, actually, I can't because I compete with HubSpot. Obviously, I'm not. So that'd be fine. And actually, the best video on YouTube about strategy is one by Roger Martin for Harvard Business Review. I think it's like 5 million, and when he talks about airlines, it's fascinating. Anyway. Okay. I spent my life watching videos about strategy now. I've really matured into this middle-aged, pullover guy who likes to sit in the back seats and talk about back in my day.
Back in my day. And strategy.
Yeah. No, I'm still one of these annoying marketers who walk around town going, that slogan's wrong, there should be an apostrophe there, or what are they trying to say? Or why they put the jumpers at the front when the profit margin is in the pants, right?
Yeah, it's like it just becomes part of you after a while.
It does. I'm one of these soulless, annoying people.
We're needed in this world. We're needed.
Apparently so. And then the 2 crucial things that you should always be doing where possible is anything internal links. So if you've written an article about different window treatments, and then including that in a post about wireless versus wired blinds, for example, right? If you've written about why you should hire an electrician, then obviously or I don't know what you guys call it over there, but somebody's a Sparky, we call it over here, right?
A Sparky?
A Sparky, yeah. Because they.
I think we just call them electricians.
Well, there you go. Yeah. No. So anyway.
No. So one of the things, I think you're talking about links now, right? So
talking about links, yes, sir.
Interlinking.
Yep.
Okay, so explain that a little bit, because I actually just got signed it to one of my team members. We got a long list of like 150 in a spreadsheet.
Cool.
And there's 3 columns. One is the page it's on, then the keyword phrase, and then the link. And essentially what we're doing is we look for that keyword phrase, and then we turn that keyword phrase, the anchor text, into a link.
Yep.
And that's going to point to somewhere inside the site. And so their strategy, this client got a new agency helping them, and besides that, we do the web design development.
Yeah.
We get this stuff from the SEO department over there, or whatever. And
sure.
So we got this long list. she's going to imply that, but that's doing something. What does that interlinking do? How does that help?
So, interlinking is great because it provides additional context on pages. So it provides people with the ability to go read, additional resources on a particular topic. It then also helps you show the search engines that certain pages are more valuable. So if you have a page that's like about Windows, right, and every time you mention Windows, you then, or every first mention of Windows on every page, you then link back to that page. Google's going to go, oh, that must be an important page. What is it? Oh, it's about Windows, right? We should start writing that for about Windows, right? And so that can be quite an effective way of promoting certain pages over other pages. You obviously don't want to go too far down that track because you're going to make it look really spammy.
Do you want to do it I don't know if judicially is the word, but you want to sprinkle these. You don't want like everything to be linking everywhere and have 100 links.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they start to look like Wikipedia, and I think that's one of the downsides of Wikipedia is they try to reference every phrase,
every little thing. Yeah, so everything's a blue link. Yeah,
everything's a blue link, which then becomes a pain in the butt to read as a user, right? And it's not good. It's not good for discovery as a user for user experience.
Do you think there's a threshold? Do you think there's a threshold there that you would start getting a negative impact on your SEO? I mean, would you say like a couple dozen links is probably fine, but maybe not 50?
The word on the street is Google after about 100 links starts to ignore them. Whether or not they do is another question.
Yeah.
And so, let's say after 100 links that they do, so then you probably, if you're writing a 2,000 word blog post, 100 links may be 1 in every 3, maybe 4 words, roughly speaking.
Yeah, that's bad.
Which is incredibly stupid, right? Because, you're drawing people's attention away from what you're trying to get, the action that you're trying to get them to take. Right? And therefore you should be using internal links and external links, and I'll talk about that in a second, to shape the user experience and to give you credibility and to give the reader extra resources, but not in a way that it takes away from the purpose of that page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, external links, I'm going to jump in before you ask questions. So external links are really helpful because they, again, give you external validation in terms of, we found this great article about window treatment from Crestron, which is a big home automation company based in New Jersey, and therefore go read there because they're the world experts on window treatments or whatever, right?
Right.
And that just again gives you credibility because you're including something that matters, that gives them a variety of points of view that isn't you just hammering on about what you believe.
Yeah. You got to think about your content like as a resource. Like they're starting with the content, but if you link out the things, it makes it more of an experience for them, and they can get more in depth into that. That next step, even though it's just the simple link.
Yep.
This is good stuff, man. So is there anything? So we're gonna start landing here a little bit.
Another half an hour then.
Looking for that landings, for another half hour, 3 hours. This was a 4-hour episode. You didn't know that? You didn't sign up. You signed up for that. You didn't see the little small print. No.
I unfortunately have to be with our good friend Mr. David Bear in half an hour, so.
Okay. We're good.
We're good. No, we're
good.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No,
continue.
Can you? Okay, let's. Cause this is something I am. It's one of my side passions. Because it's important to all my clients.
Yeah.
I have clients that they depend really a lot on SEO. Like a lot of their business comes from SEO or organic traffic and optimizing pages. Let's land into what other ways do you optimize a page to improve? Now, when we're talking about SEO, improving, getting more traffic to that page or attracting the type of traffic or audience you want to that page. What other things come into play?
Cool. Okay. I'm now going to refute what you've said in 4 words. It's not going to be 4 words, it's going to be 40 words, but anyway. Traffic's sake is useless, right? And I know you know this because you're a very smart marketer yourself. And so this idea that you're building pages to get traffic is bunk, right? The idea of traffic, which you alluded to, is targeted traffic, which means people who are either in market or are maybe joined to the market, i.e. that then in that process of buying. So they may be cold, they may be warm, they may be really, really hot, but they're in that process. Versus just getting anyone who may have some tangential interest, however small it is. So, traffic safety is a downside of people who believe SEO is just about getting traffic when it's not. It's about getting conversions. Right?
I love that. I'm gonna have to. Hey, person editing this, make sure we snip that. We're going to use that as number 1 a clip here, and we're going to turn that into a quote.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not SEO is not just about traffic, getting organic traffic from the search engines. It's about conversions and actually a different.
For 90% of people, like if you're running a TMZ or Daily Mail, of course you want as much traffic as possible because your KPI, your business outcome, your ORB is. Traffic equals impressions, which equals rev share, ad share, right?
Right.
And therefore, in that model, you want to write about as much ridiculousness as possible to get traffic.
This is about the model. So there are different models and different reasons you would... Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Whereas if you are trying to sell, Honda Accords second-hand, you're probably going to do lots of content around, so the typical Honda Accord we get into our second-hand dealership needs X, Y, and Z done to them because they've used me on the road and had for these conditions, right? And, that kind of thing. So it's a different type of content, and you don't want people with that content who are just interested in Honda Accords. You want people who are ready to buy and who maybe are undecided between what model of Honda. I'm just using Honda, right? A Honda versus a Ford, or a Ford versus a Taurus, or whatever. Do they still make Taurus? I don't know. Maybe it's a Ford Taurus. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't think they do.
No. I used to have one car manufacturer that's better, and they get
we're
for
just
me.
dating ourselves.
Maybe. Only 36. Calm down.
Young man. Yeah.
But again, they're getting a lot of traffic about a particular car model is never going to help them actually sell more cars, right? Whereas them getting targeted traffic around, here's the 4 problems you should look for if you're looking to buy a second-hand Honda, is going to be more beneficial for them actually shifting cars than just having lots of traffic that does nothing.
It does nothing, yeah. So it's important to,
So a guy I recently found on YouTube via a Facebook group is a guy called, I think his name is Nigel, and he runs a channel called Bentley on a Budget. I can't think why I'm watching a Bentley on a Budget YouTube channel.
Yeah. Just side note, AJ likes Bentleys.
I'm obsessed, yeah. But he released a video last weekend saying, well, there's no money in doing it, so I'm doing it because it's a passion project. I want people to be educated on how to maintain the Bentleys themselves, not having to go into garages and spend lots of money. Because they're really great cars and they're really, really good runners if they're maintained properly. But I'm never going to make a penny out of all these hours that I'm spending, filming and editing and shooting. Obviously, he's a smart guy because he realizes that he's never going to make any money off the YouTube channel. It's a fun hobby, right? But then his purpose is not to try and flog you Bentleys. It's to try and educate you on how to maintain yours, which there's just no money in it, right?
Right.
There may be money in selling, paint repair kits or mats, all that kind of thing, right?
I mean, you could monetize it in other ways. I mean, if your channel got big enough, and yeah.
Well, Yeah, so he got find like a car cleaning liquid kind of company and get a branded thing that he gets a rev share off of, whatever, right? There are loads of different opportunities in terms of add-ons or verticals that he can scale up and down and across the side, right? And so it's about understanding what your model is, what the key driver is to drive revenue. So are people using the information in the tender process? Are they going to buy something today from you? Are they researching to go to understand that you are trustworthy to then go and frequent your business later? It is the final purpose, and this. But by the way, this is why like 99% of SEO advice that you read online is incorrect, but it's also correct at the same time because it's generalistic advice. It's not specific advice to. I know, boom. It's not specific advice to your situation or your model. It's generalistic advice. And I had to say to clients this year. Sorry. And I had to say to clients this year when they said, well, I've read on John Muller, who's the Google guy, who says, well, John Muller says X, Y, and Z, and he said, and I had to say to them, he's being generalistic because he's being the spokesperson. He's not being specific about your situation. And thus, you have to take him with a truckload of salt.
Yes. So this is a great lesson to land on. It's a great I love this because so what you're saying is you have to know there's all these techniques out there. There's things how you optimize and keyword stuff and technical stuff and there's a lot of you can Google and find out a lot of that. But at the end of the day, you also have the other half of this, which is knowing why you're doing it, your purpose, how you're monetizing it. And I'll leave it with an example of so even from a list building perspective, right? I created this lead magnet recently called Outsourcing Fit. And it's actually about strategic partnerships, and I'm wondering if I should rename it to Strategic Partnerships. But we rethink these things, create something. Could I have done it better?
We test, measure, and improve.
Yes, exactly. But
you use it later.
Regardless of what the guide will be called now or in the future, when I created that, why am I creating it?
Yeah.
What is my expectation? And then I visualize how I'm monetizing that. Like if I capture somebody downloads that lead magnet and they now are on my list and now I follow up with what content and what's the purpose of that content. And then as time goes on, as that drip of that sequence goes, or I send out broadcasts, whatever I do, what am I, selling them, or where am I guiding them into my funnel, into what I do, my services, my products, or whatever, and how am I doing that? But I've thought about all of that, and it's not just about driving traffic to that and figure out how I'm going to get people on that list. It's once they're on it, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And it's the same with SEO or creating content. You should understand or visualize that flow somehow.
Yes, and I think it doesn't really matter if you're writing content or you're doing an email kind of flow. You need to start with what is the end purpose? So am I trying to get people to book a demo? Am I trying to get people to book a call? Am I trying to get people to purchase something?
Right.
And then track back from that and then think, what are the logical steps? What are the logical objections? And then create content around that. And I don't think you'll ever get away from that model.
I just had a great idea.
Okay. Cool.
I'm going to create some content with the sole purpose to drive traffic to AJ's The Builders podcast episodes.
Let's do it.
So you're going to have 5 now. So we're going to have you got your bio on my site, thebuilders.com. If you go up on the menu, there's something called guest something, and you can search for AJ. And you're going to see all 5 of his episodes there. But I could create a whole campaign around just promoting AJ.
You could.
And that would be my purpose. and then I'll get a kickback. Anything
Cool.
that he sells, we'll have to track it. And
Well,
I get what?
My default commission is 15% lifetime, so you'll get
All right, awesome.
50% lifetime.
All right, I got a new plan.
One of my goals this year is to buy the Bentley, right? And so I need £35,000 to buy the Bentley, right?
Okay.
And so we can do kickbacks. That's absolutely fine. I'm just
Nice.
I just
We'll
want to
help.
achieve that
We'll
goal.
help the cause. Yeah,
Help
yeah.
cause.
We'll help the cause.
Help the cause.
I'm doing what I can. I know.
It's all good. It's all
Yeah, yeah. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be exciting. I cannot wait until you reach that goal.
good. Thank you. Me neither.
Maybe what will that be? Episode 10. We'll talk about that.
Hopefully. Yeah. Does it tell you the watch story? Have you got time for me to tell you the watch story? Have I told you the watch story?
The what story?
The watch story.
Oh, the watch story. I think you might have told it, but
Shall I recap?
let's hear it one more time. I think I have heard this one. Yeah.
So 3 years ago, coming up 3 years ago, I bought my dream watch, which is a Raymond Wild Freelancer, which is a skeleton watch. It's automatic, so you can see it all working. It's absolutely fantastic. And every time I look at it, I remind myself that this is the promise that everything else is going to come true. So it's not the fact that I have a fancy watch; it's the fact that that was a promise that came true, and so that everything else can come true. And it's about trusting the process and believing that. But I know it sounds like bullshit, and I'm not trying to sound like get rich quick or like we sit in a circle and hold each other's hands and chant. But I believe if you have the goals, you put in the effort, and you believe that you can get the outcome.
Yeah.
Right? That the outcome will come to you in some way, somehow. You just have to wait.
So the watch was the outcome, and you kind of proved to yourself that you could do
something listenable, yes.
Yeah.
And then
now
I'm doing something bigger. And I'm going to do something bigger after that. Something bigger after that.
Gotcha.
And then one day I'll take over the world. I'm kidding. I don't want to take over the world. Again, I'm an introvert. I'm not a narcissist. Anyway. I'm sure you can think of. I'm sure you can think of at least 3 popular names in the US right now who are both introverts and narcissists.
They're all over the place. They're all over the place. So, but that's good. Yeah, I think having goals and having things like that too, that it kind of motivates you to show up every day and work towards that thing.
Yeah.
That is motivating and powerful and all that good stuff. And I'm glad you got your watch, and I know you'll get your Bentley.
Thank you.
Let's keep her going. I've seen the pictures. If you go on Instagram, you might see a few pictures of Bentleys. You're just randomly walking down the street, and you see one like...
I won't tell you the story. So, about 2 months ago, my best friend and his girlfriend came down to visit for the weekend. And on the Sunday, we went into town. Where we parked, there was a Bentley. So I was like, guys, I just want to take a photo. And walking into the cafe, there was another Bentley, so I took a photo. And then we walked up to the Royal Crescent, which is like the highlight of Bath, which everybody should know, because if you see Bridgestone, you see the Royal Crescent. And there was 2 Bentleys parked on the Royal Crescent. And so I was like, wow, this is a massive sign. There's 4 of them in one day. I've never seen this.
No kidding.
This amount in my town on one day within the space of about like half an hour. So yeah, it was absolutely incredible. So
someday you'll have a fleet of these. You'll have a fleet.
I don't want a fleet. I just want the one. I just want.
One.
I want the
we'll
one.
focus on it.
Focus on the one. Exactly.
One at a time. Yeah, and then you'll have then you're gonna you'll have more goals after that. We're on the ride. We're with you.
We are.
We're with you. We are. Got the watch. We're gonna get the Bentley, then we'll keep going.
Indeed.
And by episode 20, you'll probably be running the world. You'll be.
Just on this, because this is probably the best place to stop. So, Conrad Hilton, who started the Hilton chain of hotels, he opened the world's biggest hotel. I can't remember which year. Let's just say like 1980s, right? And he was asked at that press conference, "What do you do now?" And his answer, I'll never forget this, was, "I'm going to shoot for an even bigger goal." Isn't that mind-blowing? I'm going to shoot for a bigger goal. It wasn't the fact that he was trying to compete with somebody else or compete with what people thought about him. It was the fact that his vision for what he was trying to do could be enlarged and enlarged and enlarged and enlarged and he keep chasing off something that seemed ridiculous but was also methodically possible.
That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. That's actually a really good story. I love that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to work on my goals. I don't even know what my next goal is.
Come to the UK. And let me take you for lunch. That could be your goal. Hey! Come to the UK. I'll take you to lunch in the Bentley. There we go.
Yes.
Two goals in one. Two goals in one.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I mentioned my wife. She works at home here, and I said, I'm talking to AJ. She's like, who's AJ?
Really?
He's our UK buddy. I said, we're gonna someday go to UK. We're gonna meet you in person. I said, but this is my thing. Like I have a lot of, I know people internationally. I just talked to a guy in Argentina. He's gonna be. We just recorded his podcast. It might come out 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And he invited me to Argentina to have some steak and beer or something down there.
Incredible.
Maybe wine. I think he was talking about wine. But there, I got India, Philippines. I'm like, I could just do this world tour someday.
You can't just do a world tour.
Yeah. And maybe you can come with. The first stop will be UK. I'll pick you up and we'll go. Just have some fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, let's end here. This has devolved into who knows what. We're at the top of the hour. Thanks again, JJ. It's always great chatting with you. A lot of great insights in this one. I know people will enjoy it and learn something. Hopefully, probably. Till next time.
Till next time.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. Now a word from our sponsor, my agency, Unified Web Design. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you are interested in our services or are looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket, and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.